Hi, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about how Microsoft IT enables business power users to create BI dashboards using SharePoint 2010 very easily without programming, using data from the IT-supported Enterprise Data Warehouse, also called EDW. Everything that you use today is based on Microsoft BI products that are all available for you to use. My name is Diana Putnam, and I'm a Principal Program Manager in the BI Engineering Department of Microsoft IT. I lead the platform's development for enterprise data warehousing. BI dashboards and scorecards are a useful performance management tool used industry-wide by enabling technically savvy business users to create their own BI reports, dashboards, and scorecards. Thousands of hours of traditional SDLC development time is eliminated, resulting in cost savings and business agility.
Hi, I'm Sanjay Soni, and I'm BI Technology Evangelist in Microsoft IT, and I promote our platforms across enterprise and facilitate their adoption internally, and then showcase our solutions for external customers.
The goal of BI engineering is to create an enterprise data warehouse, or EDW, that allows agile and more expedient decision making and promotes one version of the truth, if you will, within the company. The Enterprise Data Warehouse is an ecosystem of business intelligence platform solutions built by utilizing standard Microsoft BI products. Platforms exist for various stages of BI, including data acquisition and integration, or ETL, taxonomy management, data distribution, such as reports, portals, scorecards, and dashboards. As part of our EDW solution, we're acquiring and integrating data from various data sources into a central data store, creating data marts and cubes, which enable various forms of data distribution. Even though we have terabytes of data in the EDW, customers still want to be able to munge the EDW data with their own data sets, with the goal of being agile and having distribution of that data without waiting on IT. The business understands their data best, so it's a win-win to push data distribution to power users and drastically reduce the SDLC cycles. This is exactly where SharePoint 2010 tools are helping us. Sanjay?
Folks, imagine a world where all employees at an enterprise like Microsoft have the ability to go to just one BI portal, just one destination, and based on their Windows credentials, they get instant access to all of their BI, reports, scorecards, dashboards for various businesses and regions in one place. That's the world of CBI, Consolidated BI. It's not a world of imagination anymore. CBI has been in production for more than 3 years here at Microsoft. We now have 30,000 plus users from 60 plus internal Microsoft businesses, 100 plus applications who have used the solution globally. You can learn more about CBI by watching our CBI IT Showcase video. What really made CBI successful was that we enabled managed self-service BI by enabling and training business power users to create reports using tools like Excel, Report Builder, Dashboard Designer. So IT should be in the business of securing, managing, and hosting SharePoint BI infrastructure. If IT can host, manage, and secure all this, then with SharePoint 2010 Dashboard Designer tool, technically savvy business power users can create dashboards using Excel and other BI tools against EDW and other data sets. So in this video, we'll show you some of those sample dashboards from Microsoft business scenarios. We'll create a BI dashboard from scratch without programming using the SharePoint 2010 Dashboard Designer. So Diana, why don't you tell us more about the standard Microsoft BI stack?
So here are the main components of the Microsoft Business Intelligence. Our goal is to show you how you can create more BI out of the products you already own. Microsoft Office 2010 helps enable a familiar business user experience and enables data explorations in various data and contextual visualizations. To deliver BI to the masses, you can also use the business collaboration platform of SharePoint 2010 using dashboards, scorecards, Power Pivot, BI Search, etc. To have a robust information platform, you can use SQL Server 2008 R2, and as part of that, use analysis services for cubes, reporting services for reporting needs, master data services for managing EDW and other enterprise master data, and of course SQL Server for your data warehousing needs. At Microsoft, we've been using the Microsoft BI stack in the form of a hosted CBI solution, as Sanjay just mentioned. Sanjay is going to show you a sample dashboard with a real Microsoft scenario, and we'll show you how you can easily build one. Sanjay, take it away.
Sure, let's do the demo. So basically in this demo, I'm going to start with a sales and marketing scenario dashboard created using SharePoint 2010, PowerPoint, etc. with against real EW data. So here is an example of a dashboard that we created using SharePoint 2010 Dashboard Designer against a sales and marketing scenario, and especially the customer and partner dashboard data. You're looking at this customer revenue by segment scorecard on the left hand side, and the revenue by type on the right hand side. This is our analytic charts and scorecards right there. And if you scroll down, you're looking at the big map, part of reporting services 2008 R2, and also revenue by customer license programs, again a gauge, part of reporting services 2008 R2. So I'm looking at these numbers, and I want to find out what's happening in the major segment in terms of sales. Something is red. I click on this red portion on the right hand side. I see information related to this segment. What kind of revenues are we getting from renewals? Let's drill into that. So here is a nice decomposition tree, part of this new tool, and I want to find out what kind of revenue am I getting from renewals for various products. So I can go into product, family name, and I can see the $3.5 million Visual Studio revenue that we have here for renewals. I can find out what kind of customers are contributing to that. And as you can see, you can find out what are your most profitable customers versus the other ones in one view. Let's switch gears. I want to see something in Bing Maps. I'm looking at this Bing Map report on the right hand side, and you know what? I'm showing you a partner count by geography. I want to find out more information about this. I click on this, and the Bing Map opens up in a separate window, and I'm going to be able to show you how many partners do we have across the globe. And with color coding, you can easily tell, okay, there are 23,000 partners in US, but more importantly, it's blue in a nice range versus the other one, maybe not doing too well over there. If I click in this particular, on this particular US map right here, I can see more details about how many partners do we have, what kind of trend do we have within US in terms of FY09, Q1 all the way to FY10, right? So that's the kind of information you can see from these visual dashboards.
Wow, in the past I know it took lots of time to create something like this. Sanjay, why don't you show us how to create a simple dashboard like this in under 10 minutes?
All right, let's do it. So let's create a dashboard from scratch. Once you install SharePoint 2010, you see something like this, BI Center. And once you enable that, you click on Create Dashboards here, start using Performance Point Services. Then you click on Run Dashboard Designer. And now the Click Once application is loading, and it's connecting to the SharePoint 2010 server where the dashboards or scorecards or some other objects are already there. It will load those where you can see, where you can have access. And on the left hand side, once it loads those, what we can do is create a data source from scratch and create a dashboard from scratch. So let's right click, Data Connections, New Data Source. You can always choose data sources like Analysis Services, Excel, SharePoint List, SQL Server Table. I'm going to select Analysis Services. What we are going to do in this demo is connect to a cube located on Enterprise Data Warehouse servers, and of course data is masked, and we are going to pull data. I'm going to connect to this OLAP database and select the cube and click on Test Data Connection. Connection is successful, and now all we're going to do is rename the data source to be my data source 5. Let's just say that. So this is my data source, and I already have it now, and I'm going to save this particular data source and the whole file that I'm creating. So save all, desktop, and in the demo folder, I'm going to call it my dashboard 5 demo file. So now that I've saved my workspace, I'm going to start creating my other objects. Performance point content, new, and let's start with a scorecard. I select Analysis Services scorecard type, and I click on the data source I selected that I just created in front of you. Next, create KPIs from SQL Server Analysis Services measures. So let's add a KPI called constant dollar revenue. So this is a measure in the cube. I'm simply selecting that, and here on the targets I can choose some other measure, right? You could have some other kind of target measure inside the cube. I'm simply going to select something else, for example license count, or actually let's select this local currency revenue. Another KPI I want to add here is going to be license count, and I want to select a fixed value. See, your targets could be coming from Excel files, where you have targets stored, and you click next, next, ignore the next two boxes for now, and click on finish. So this way you at least have an empty scorecard and also two KPIs that we just added. And I'm going to call this my scorecard 5. So I have this first KPI, constant dollar revenue, and I'm going to select the target to be local currency revenue. Now I want to show you something. You could actually select some other measure from the cube, or you could actually create a simple MDX tuple formula where you can say my dollar revenue times 45 is my target. But I'm not going to do that. I said no programming, right? So I'm going to show you something without programming. I am going to select simply a measure from the cube, click OK, and then I go to my next. By the way, you could obviously visually adjust these thresholds. You can say, okay, 60% or something here to be. So now you have range, 60% of less or less is red, something like that. I'm going to go to my next KPI. Here's my fixed value. I'm going to select 5 million as fixed value target right there. So actual is coming from the cube, target is a fixed value, and now let's go to the scorecard. So you have the scorecard where you have actuals and targets coming from the KPIs. But you know what? To make it really interesting, I want some dimensions. So click on dimensions in the cube, and I'm going to select this particular segment hierarchy here. I have a segment hierarchy, and I want to find out what kind of sales did I get from these. The trick is to press Shift key and drag segment hierarchy right here on the right hand side of the revenue, just like that. And now if I'm selecting my EPG segment and SMSMP segment, you see I'm able to see the revenue and other KPI from these particular two segments. Once you do that, to update the data that you have here, you click on edit and update. You see now you have some scorecard. You are able to see, you are able to browse some information here. But you know what, I'm also looking at some I want to look at all this information through a date dimension point of view. So I click on Shift again, drag and drop here, and I select FY10 values and click OK. So there we go. We are able to see this information for FY10 and for various segments, and all this information is available to me. This is an empty scorecard. Let's add a report to this. New report. This is going to be my analytic chart, if you would. And I'm going to select analytic chart here from same data source, and I'm going to call this to be my report. So once I have this particular report here, I'm going to create this is an empty shell. Of course, I'm going to drag and drop things. So let's select. Let's say I'm interested in the revenue measure, constant dollar revenue on background. And then of course I'm interested in what kind of segments or revenue type maybe on series. And let's say I want to select my segment hierarchy here under bottom axis, something like that. So I can simply choose a report type of a pie chart, and I can drill down, so now I have a report as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to create a dashboard. So let's select a new dashboard. Let's create a new dashboard. But before I do that, let's create a filter. So you can always select a filter like member selection, and then I select this data source right here, and I'm going to specify some dimension. For example, my geography dimension. Click OK. Select members. Like I want to find out the filters across those two objects that I created with this. Across North America, corporate HQ, international, next, and multi-select tree, and finish. All I have done so far is I created a data source, I created two KPIs in a scorecard, a simple report, and now I have a filter. So I'm going to call it my filter 5. Let's bring everything together. So all we do is we can new dashboard. The dashboard should have one header and two columns, something like that. I'm going to click OK. And now here's my new dashboard 5. So let's select the filter first. My filter 5, I'm going to put this on the header. Here are zones, by the way. You can organize yourself, you can spread zones, all this good stuff. But I'm simply going to select a simple report, my report here. I will drag it to the right column, and I'm going to select a scorecard and drag it to the left. So now we have an empty shell. We have filter, we have a scorecard and a report. Well, what's missing is linking them all. So let's click on this particular my filter 5 that I had, and you see member unique name. So all we need to do, it's a little bit tricky by the way, but you simply click on member unique name and drag to the scorecard. All you're doing is you're connecting the filter of geography to the scorecard. So I'm okay with that. And now I'm going to do the same thing, connecting this to the pie chart. And here you can say, okay, I want to select through hierarchy, through measures or through segment hierarchy, or whatnot, and you can click OK. So now I have filter working across these. And the last thing I'm going to do is connect the scorecard to the pie chart. So click member unique name from scorecard to the pie chart, and then here you can select, okay, what do you want to link this with? Something like this. Click OK. And now at least I should be able to browse this. So let's save everything for now. And then we can browse this. The way to browse, deploy to SharePoint. Okay. So here is a very simple dashboard, if you would, we have. We're able to see what kind of revenue do we have, actuals versus target, and you can drill down into this. Essentially, that constant revenue, we did not meet something. If we can always drill down inside of this particular segment, what's red, what's yellow. Of course, all these KPIs, all these thresholds are adjustable, and you can find out as to what is happening. When you click here, the numbers should change on the all other sides, and also you can choose some different filter, hopefully, and then the filters, the data should change for those filters as well. So here was an example of a simple dashboard that we created using SharePoint 2010 Dashboard Designer. And of course, you can make it much more complicated by adding more other objects that you have. For example, the filters work across reporting services as well. So you can have reporting services objects, and you can have these filters work across that.
Thanks, Sanjay, for the awesome demo.
No problem. So Diana, why don't you tell us about the overall benefits that we have received?
Okay, so the solution is saving money for Microsoft, and it can help you and your division save money too. Here are the benefits and increased efficiencies that can come. So one, for BI report creators, it enables business users to create agile BI without the need to wait for IT to create reports. SharePoint Dashboard Designer enables integrated BI using various tools. Also, business users make better decisions as they understand their business best. For Microsoft IT, there's a reduction in shadow application development, which reduces overall development and maintenance costs, data redundancy, it reduces the not having multiple versions of the truth, and it increases agility and business customer satisfaction. Line of business power users, again, know their business, and they're now enabled to push better EDW requirements. For BI consumers, there's thousands of users that consume BI using Internet Explorer and can interact with data using drill down and drill across capabilities. Improved user productivity through reduced time to find desired information.
Great, thank you.
So here's some additional information, resources for you if you're interested in reading further on this topic. The slide has links to CBI and other videos.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope this information has been useful to you, and if you would like us to demo our Microsoft IT BI solutions to your teams, please contact your Microsoft account team members. As you know, it's all about your potential, our passion. See you next time.